Good afternoon, my name is Samantha Oliva. I'm going to explain my lesson plan number 1. The topic of this class is how much and how many. The grade I'm going to teach is first year of senior high school. The duration of the class is 45 minutes. The proficiency level is elementary A2. Lesson plan designer is Samantha Oliva. Okay, now I'm going to explain the objectives. Listening. Students will be able to identify different types of nouns with which to use many and much. Speaking. They will be able to conduct a simple conversation using many and much. Reading. Students should be familiar with the main difference between countable and uncountable nouns. Writing. They will be able to use many and much appropriately in a sentence. Methodology, Dewey method, notional functional method, and communicative language teaching method. Strategies, individual work, group work, the use of pictures, the use of the board. Anticipatory set. To begin this class, I will explain the topic on the board. I will teach the students that there are many different nouns, which is why it is difficult to differentiate between a lot and many. To refer to something we can count, an idea or a definition, we use much. And to refer to what we can count and we see that there are several, we use many. I will point out to the students several examples so they can notice the difference. The main session input, students will use new vocabulary related to food and drink. For this, we will first review the meaning of this vocabulary by showing it in pictures. And then the students will draw a table that they will divide into much and many and place them under the corresponding title, remembering the explanations given at the beginning of the class. This will be the vocabulary we're going to use. That is a bar of chocolate, a packet of potato chips, a packet of nuts, a packet of cookies, a packet of candy, a can of tomatoes, a can of soup, a can of fruit, a can of tuna fish, and a can of olives, a can of lemonade, a can of beer, a bag of pasta, a bag of rice, a bag of sugar, a bag of flour, a bag of fruit, and a bag of vegetables, a loaf of bread, a slice of bread, a slice of pizza, and a slice of cake. This is the vocabulary we're going to use, and they have to put it on a table, dividing in how much and how many. Okay, modeling. All the examples and activities that we will do in class and the answers that the students will give will provide clear models which will show them the correct form in using the context so that they can use it in the future. Guided practice. For this activity, students will work in groups, interviewing each other about their eating habits. Students will ask 5 how much and how many questions that they can use to interview a partner. Before they begin, I will underline on the board the difference between the two questions and ask the students what they understand so that activity is very clear. After reviewing the questions, the students can be interviewed in groups of 3 or 4, and I will check the groups as I correct mistakes. Independent practice. For this activity, students will share what they learned from their classmates in the previous exercise. I will ask each student 2 or 3 questions about interviews. The questions will be, how many bars of chocolate does your classmate eat? Or how many students did you interview? Okay. Okay, the answer should be in the third person singular. Now for the assessment. I will evaluate the students with two recent activities. While correcting errors, I will explain the reason for those mistakes. And for closing review and follow up, the students will imagine they are in a grocery store. The student A is the customer. He wants to buy apples, orange, and rice, and several other things for dinner with his family. Student B is the grocer. He has no apples and several other things that the customer needs. So he has to use correctly what he has learned in class. Okay, now I'm going to start the class. Okay. You're welcome to this class today. The topic of today's class is how many and how much. Okay, now I'm going to explain you when we use how many and when we use how much. We use how many with plural nouns. Okay, we can count. We can count with how many. Okay, we use how many with countable things. Okay, we can count. Now, with how much, we use it with singular nouns. Okay, here we can count. Okay, now I'm going to give you some examples, okay? Okay, here, in how many animals are there? Okay, this is one example. Okay, how many animals are there? Another example, how many balls can you carry? Okay, another example, how many cars can you see? Okay, let's continue with how much. How much cheese is left? Okay, the next one. How much farther to walk? Okay. And number 3, how much milk is in the bottle? Okay, so you can notice that my examples contains plural nouns with how many. Here we have animals, balls, cars. And here we have singular nouns in these examples. Okay, so you can notice the difference with how many and how much. Okay, now we're going to use vocabulary related to food and drink. Okay, so I'm going to show you some pictures, and you're going to learn, or you're going to remember this vocabulary that we are going to use in this activity. What are you going to do? You're going to draw a table. Okay, you're going to divide it into how much and how many, and you're going to place them under the corresponding title. Okay, this vocabulary, you're going to put it into the corresponding title, how many or how much. Okay, so I'm going to show you the pictures. Okay, and you're going to think if these pictures I'm going to show you are countable or uncountable. Okay, the first one is a bar of chocolate. Okay, you can see here we have a bar of chocolate. The next one is a packet of potato chips. Okay. Here we have a packet of nuts, a packet of cookies, a packet of candy, a can of tomatoes, a can of soup, a can of fruit, a can of tuna fish, a can of olives, a can of lemonade, a can of beer. Here we have a carton of milk, a carton of orange juice, a bag of pasta, a bag of rice, a bag of sugar, a bag of flour, a bag of fruit, a bag of vegetables, a bag of vegetables and a bag of fruit, a loaf of bread, a slice of bread, a slice of pizza, and a slice of cake. Okay, so you're going to organize this vocabulary and put it in the correct box. In how many box or in how much box? Okay, you're going to have 8 minutes to finish this activity. Okay. Okay, while you continue with this activity, you can watch the board and remember the difference between both. Okay. Okay, thank you for completing this activity. Now we're going to continue. Okay, for this activity, you're going to work in groups. Okay, you're going to interview each other about eating habits. Okay, you're going to ask 5 questions to interview your partner. Okay. Okay, here I'm going to put you some 2 examples of questions you can ask. Okay, the first one is, how much chocolate do you eat per week? You can ask this question. And the second one, okay, and the second one is, how many bars of chocolate do you eat per week? So you can continue with the activity. Okay, if you finish, I can continue. And please, you're going to share with us what you have learned from your conversation or for your or with your interviews with your classmates. Okay, okay, and I want you to ask, how many bars of chocolate does your classmate eat? Okay, you want to ask this question? Do you remember? Do you remember how many students did you interview and what they told you? Can you share with me? Okay, remember that your answers should be in the third personal singular. Okay, the next activity. You're going to imagine you're in a grocery store. Okay, you're going to work in pairs, and student A is going to be the customer. Okay, he imagine that he or she wants to buy apples, orange, rice, and several other things for a dinner with his family. Okay, and student B is going to be the grocer. And let's imagine he has no apples and several other things that the customer needs. Okay, so he has to use correctly what he has learned in class. Okay, so you're going to practice, and then you're going to tell me how was the activity and the practice. Okay. Okay, so thank you very much for being in the class. If you have any question, you can ask me. Remember, you can practice the exercise or the activities we did in class. You can practice then, and remember the difference of how much and how many. Okay, thank you very much.